I have a good friend of mine that we just came back from a trip. Traveling to this new town is always fun, but there's always risk because you don't know the area well. This my friend had a kind of a ticket for the kind of free meal for a certain restaurant in that town. So he was looking for the restaurant in the new towns. He asked this person how to get to the restaurant. And this person gave him a direction, but he couldn't find it. So, after a few minutes of wondering, he just stopped another person and asked for the restaurant. And this person gave him a totally different direction. So that he tried to follow it and he couldn't find the restaurant. And they stopped the third person and they asked. And they gave another direction. And he said maybe find it easier. And he couldn't find it. After three people's directions, he was just exhausted and he was in the middle of nowhere in the new town. And he found the correct person and asked the restaurant. And this person said, hey, I'm not going to tell you how to get to there, but I'm going to get you to there. So this person just led my friend to the restaurant so he could have his meal that he wanted. Very simple story, but it's very powerful because today's story is talk about this. When somebody asks us for direction, if we know the direction, the only good is just giving them a direction, how to get there, and they must be their own, because whether we intend it or not, we don't want to sacrifice our time to escort them to the place. It's a sacrifice of our time, right? And then we may think that's too much of kindness, that leading them to a place by just spending the 30 minutes or 40 minutes to get there. So it is very unusual, okay? Very unusual taking a stranger to a place that they look for without the hesitation, but with the willingness. Why did you start? If somebody asks you for direction, what would you do? Take them to this place? Or giving them this direction? What is it?
Depends on how far away it is.
Yeah, giving them a direction. Is that right? So, taking them to the place is very unusual, even for Christians. But unfortunately, that's the message of Jesus. Even if you don't have to take every person to the place that they're looking for, but there is a message. Okay? Giving yourself. Giving yourself. If you read the Bible today, we just read a story of this which is very famous. When Jesus was teaching, great crowd just gathered together. They're just coming from every place. And dinner time came. And Jesus has this he was so merciful. So Jesus wanted to feed them. But when he asked to Philip to check if we can just feed those people, the Philip's first response was, is it possible? Jesus, do you think it is possible for us to feed all these people? when Jesus asked, or when Jesus gave a mission to Philip, what Philip did first was just collect the information, collect all the information, and examine them based on his knowledge. So, he had his answer, which was that it is not possible, which is no. Because based on his knowledge, on his calculation, 8 months of wages is not even enough to buy enough food for all those people. But it was not what Jesus was waiting from Philip. The Bible says that Jesus already knew what he was going to do. So here we have a little challenge. What did Philip have in his mind? What did Philip have in his mind when Jesus asked the question? Jesus, probably this was what Philip has in his mind. Now Jesus asked me to find out a way to feed all these 5,000 people. I wonder if he thought, if we just ask himself, hey Philip, can I do this? Or can I just collect all these possible resources to feed those people from other disciples? I don't know. But what Philip did first was, step out of the situation myself and looking for the resources. And maybe Peter has $2 and maybe $5 and John has $3 and Thomas, he got here about certain money, and Judas, he has some money in our community account. That's community, 12 disciples. So community account, here's some money. So we just calculate all these monies. That's not possible.